I've hit the remote, so he's come back in, he's fuming. And then next thing, he's got to pull the plug out of the TV.
I didn't like you at all.
Man United or Gary Neville?
Wayne Rooney against Jake Paul at Old Trafford.
Wow.
Right? And that's
the one, isn't it?
Wow.
I'm like,
On the overlap.
Jude, he was in the building. I was there, obviously, as the manager. Sir Alex was there. Brian Robson was there, and Cantona was there that day when he came to the club.
Wow.
So we all spoke to him, and of course we sold it to him as well as we could, but he knew what he wanted.
When you've managed and you do your interviews, and you do that thing where you laugh and then go serious.
Yeah, I'll say it. I don't want to say it. I love it.
You know, everybody goes on about Cantona, but this man here.
You're too kind.
No, he means his lad.
Big yap.
Yeah. He's a great guy. Another great guy.
He's a good lad.
Yeah, he's great. Oh, great lad.
Good lad.
right, just to give you a thread here so we can keep it on track.
Right.
He won the Dutch Player of the Year, it says here, Footballer of the Year.
And who hasn't?
96, 97.
No big deal.
You can say that. Yap in you come, yeah.
How are you?
Just going through your CV.
You good, Yap?
Yeah, good, thanks.
What,
You guys?
what age are you?
good.
What age are you?
51.
You're younger
Are
than
you?
me. Jesus.
51, unbelievable, eh? Time flies.
Is this our tea here? Is this my tea here? Yep. Jesus Christ. Someone do a drug test out there. I love. Do you like these?
He's amazing.
Is it the raspberry? Are they raspberry? Is there are these?
These are not the raspberries, it's chocolate ones.
Oh, Gary, you're slacking off.
What with?
We only like the
I
raspberry.
didn't have one of them. Oh, do you like the
I've
raspberry
had
ones?
one. I've had one.
Raspberries like another level up, lads. Who's anyone listening? This is like championship. We need.
Do you want one of these? Yeah.
Oh, no, thanks.
You're looking well, yeah. What do you do training-wise? You look
I
like...
just run 3 or 4 times a week,
How far?
between 10 and 15 kilometres.
Fucking hell, Yap!
Try to be.
Iron Man stuff.
I'd pull my calf if I did that.
I did in the beginning as well, but after
Pull
a
your
while you
calves?
get used to it.
On your own, Yap, or with other...
Yeah, on the treadmill or outside.
I couldn't do it on the treadmill.
The treadmill's...
That's like pain. It's like that...
You ever see me in the gym? You know I'm lost.
But you don't feel like you need to do something.
No, I do. I do hip
The weights.
Hit training.
training. No, I do like the
The 45.
yeah, 45.
45.
Yeah, I do that.
You should go to Barry's.
Oh,
I used to.
Oh, is that the new thing now? New garlic bread. Fucking fuck. That was a trend, isn't it? 45 minutes, live an extra 10 years.
Roy, you
good
should come
garlic.
with me one morning. I tell you what we should do. Next stick to football. We'll meet there. At, I think
Where?
In Salford, in Manchester.
Right near your place, yeah.
6:45.
6:40 session or the 7:30 session. We'll meet there and we can do it together.
How long's it
Is that
last?
time in the morning you're
45
talking about?
Is it 45 minutes?
I did it 6 o'clock this morning.
What's it last? 45 minutes?
45 minutes.
I'm
Done.
on my second dream of that 6 in the morning.
It's like a circuit, like a...
Okay.
What, with other people? Is there a group of
people.
you?
Yeah, there's a group of people, like 20 people, 15 turn up.
Squats,
20.
press-ups, or
Yeah,
no?
all that sort of stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't do that.
No? But yeah, you're the strongest man in the world.
No, I don't. I have a back problem.
Oh.
Yeah,
Do anything,
no
man.
wonder.
Everybody carrying around.
people. Yeah, you did right.
That was that midfield, leaving us one-on-one, Jap, all the time.
You remember Keane when he needed to track back and then he's fucking giving you a bollocking?
Exactly.
Don't run
You're too
back.
deep.
Don't
You're too
run
deep.
back,
That was the
you're
easiest one in the lot.
fucking
You're too deep.
Him and Butty.
always
They're
too
too
deep.
deep.
Stay up.
I was coming
Stay
from a
up.
good place, yeah. I was coming from a good... You just check the yards I used to cover, about 16 kilometres.
You just get back and they're saying you get over.
Yeah. He was behind the goal at this stage. He was the worst Zola. You know, he played against Zola.
Oh.
Zola in behind my back, but obviously they couldn't come out. Arguing over Zola.
Say Del Piero's going into
Yeah.
that hole there in that pocket, which he did do at the time. I'd be like, I can't go in there because he's going or something else is happening in the box. So you're literally thinking, right, Roy, just block 5 yards that way. You almost want like a little like a joystick.
Yes, just to
Do you know what I
move
mean?
him.
But then they think that like they know the position without you controlling them. You know what I mean? And he's just 2 yards right.
all he needs.
Makes all the
Defenders
difference.
go in there now, though, don't they?
Yeah,
They
no.
go in now, but then all of a sudden you. Yeah.
How did I survive all those years?
How many Premier Leagues?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Does it really matter? It doesn't matter.
I won't forgive you for taking the remote control one.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
He was watching, what is it, rugby league?
Rugby.
He's watching, he
No,
went,
go on, you tell her.
So, no,
tell the truth, will you? Make a change.
So he's watching rugby league, so I'm sat there, it was Newcastle away. You had to go out the room to get your food. I think it was my second or third game. So he's gone out, so I've changed it over to X Factor. So I've hit the remote, so he's come back in, he's with the remote, whatever. So just sat there like, and then next thing he's gone up, pull the plug out of the TV. But then, I don't even know whether he knows. About midnight, the club security knocked at my door and asked for the remote.
I've nothing to do with me.
I have no idea where it is.
I knew he changed.
Next day he was fuming.
No, again, I like my rugby league. It was a good game, man. I came back and I knew the lads were up to no good. The usual stuff, very immature, these lads. I like, where's the control now? Fucking X Factor was on. So anyway, I wouldn't say I stormed off to bed, but I went to bed as I had, and Wayne, I knew he'd done it. And again, he was new to the club. I don't want to give him a chance, you know. I don't want to be too hard on him. And the next morning, we're down for breakfast, and he comes up to me. He says, "Did you find them controls?" And I was going to be polite to him, but when he said to me, I went, "Go fuck yourself." That's what he said. Yeah. We recovered after that a little bit.
Was it just going on to Louis van Gaal, because you said before he's the best tactical coach you've ever seen. Oh, did you like that style? Because I struggled with it watching United in that way, and many fans did.
Yeah, no, I thought, so when I say tactically, I thought defensively he had the set-up brilliant.
Yeah.
And we were difficult to play in from that point of view. In possession, I think that's where, for your more flair plays, like your Di Maria, that's why Di Maria struggles, because he wants you to stay in this area where it takes away that freedom of the attacking players, if you like. So that, from that point of view, it was difficult to play in. And I remember he didn't want the midfield players crossing over, or so you'd have to almost play in this one area or whatever. So,
but a good personality. Was he?
Oh, I thought he was brilliant.
Oh,
yeah,
hilarious, wasn't he?
He was brilliant. Yeah, some stories on it, but obviously I can't say. But
no, he was one.
One story.
But
the players liked him. The players took to him. Yeah.
Yeah, no, his methods were difficult in how he worked and off the pitch. But I absolutely loved his training.
What was that? You mean the video lengths or something like that, or what were you talking about there in terms of what's off the pitch?
You have to watch video. But it was every day was you finish training, then you'd have like 90 minutes after training finishes before you can have your food. Then you have your food. Each table goes up at a time. Then the staff table goes up last. And then you have to wait for him to finish his food. And he has a 3-course meal every day.
In training every day.
Every day. Then
wow.
When he finishes, he gets up and does a speech after every meal. And then you can leave. But then he'd say, "I want to speak to these 4 players individually." And then he'd do it in order of your seniority or whatever. So then you've got 4 players sat outside his office, going in one on
every day.
So literally you finish training, it's like another 4 hours of this. So I remember speaking to him saying, "Louis, players are gone. Like you need to change it a little bit. It's getting beyond difficulty." He didn't, but then in the end he come to me and asked how can he get the players back, basically, which it was probably a bit too late then.
So you didn't take that at Birmingham? The King's eating his dinner at the end of the session?
Oh, there was name tags.
Was there?
Yeah, on the staff table, name tags, yeah, like a wedding.
He was a character though, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I used to love. I mean, you know, on a Friday when all the managers' interviews come in, I used to obviously think I've got to see Van Gaal's in. He'd always say something mad. And what was the Man United have a kind of awards thing at the end of the season, that when he's on the stage, he had a few bevies and he's screaming and shouting and that. Oh, I love Van Gaal.
No,
he was gone a week after that.
I was sad when he went, I think, because
you won the FA Cup final and then you got sacked that night.
He knew before the FA Cup final he was gone.
Yeah, I think during the game his wife found out.
Yeah.
How?
Don't know. His wife found out.
Yeah, he knew before the game.
But to be fair to him, he knew. So after we won it, we had the party after the game, and he was always lively and bubbly, Louis, and he was there with his family. You could see he was down, he was staying away from everyone. So I went to speak to him, said, like, gutted, you're going to be going, but football, it's like, try and enjoy tonight. We've won the cup, try and enjoy it and obviously move on from that. But he never really, and always remember, he knew he was getting sacked, but he hadn't been told. the next day he got us all down for breakfast and he gave all his plans out for the off-season and stuff like that. And so he stuck to his job right till the end.
Oh.
On this show of Stick to Football, we've been working with BetterHelp. Life does move fast, things change, and if you're having a bad day or a bad time, it really does sometimes help to go and get therapy and just take stock of things and get some support. That happened to me back in 2000 after the enormous high of winning a treble. Within 6 months, I was playing terribly. I'd given away 2 goals in a World Club Championship, and I'd had a relationship breakup of about 7 years, and it really did come on top for me. And at that time, I went and sought help for the very first time in my life from a therapist. And when I hit those difficult moments, whether it be just a mundane day or whether it be something that happens in one of the businesses or something that happens in life, those 6 or 8 sessions that I had with that therapist, psychologist back at that time, those coping mechanisms I still use to this day. Visit betterhelp.com/STF today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/STF.
Now, I've got to know this fella really well over the last 10 years.
Sabotaging my own show.
But no one, you like that? Best man at your wedding, so nobody can know this man better than David Beckham. So we're going to go back to a magazine here in 1996. So I'm going to ask you the questions, and you tell me what you think his answers would be. If the world was to end tomorrow, what would you do with your last day? What did Gary Neville say?
Check his pension.
You've got to remember 96 you're in there.
Yeah.
What would it be?
I suppose play at Old Trafford.
I would sleep all day and just relax. I love relaxing. I guess I'm lazy.
Who's that?
This is the busiest man in football.
Did I say that?
Yes, you said that.
Me some person.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a good one. Who gets the most attention from girls, you or Phil?
There we go.
I used to get Betsy's knockdowns.
Yeah, I'll tell you what his answer.
What?
I don't know, really. We probably get the same amount as each other. I don't really like it much. Apart from anything else, I've got a girlfriend. I like supporters of football, whatever sex they are, but it's not so great when you're on a night out and girls just sit next to you and stuff. But to be honest, it doesn't happen to me so often. Who would be your ideal date? What do you think he said? Who did he fancy in the room? Besides you.
Who did Gary fancy?
I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Is it Baby Spice? I'm trying to think myself. Baby Spice. It is now. I feel like it's like a Debbie from work.
Who was it, Joey?
Like, he's getting this in first, he's putting it in. Like I say, I've got a girlfriend, but Princess Diana.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
Classy bloke.
The girl out of Braveheart.
Oh, yeah, his wife that got killed. Yeah, his wife that got killed.
Good shout. Good
And Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
Quite a high level.
I've got a girlfriend, but he is free.
It's free. So then the next question is, so you're not a Pamela Anderson fan, right? And you've said, no, these models look all right, but they do me head in. What model have you ever spoken to?
The thing is, he could look at someone on telly like Victoria and go and actually marry her. Dad's here today. Ted, come on, in you come. Ted, in you come. Come and stand round here.
Oh, Teddy.
I'm going to say sorry for anything he says.
We have to get legals out.
No swearing.
I'll try not to.
Ted, you watched him every single step of the way, and you must be so proud, obviously, now the film's coming out this week. It must be good to reflect upon everything that's happened.
Yeah, it's been an absolutely wonderful career for him. And as a dad, I mean, there aren't many dads that wish their son had a son like him. I mean, he's been brilliant. and his career's been cracking.
Where does he get the
and for him.
stubbornness? Where does he get the stubbornness from, Ted?
Obviously from me. But no, he's a good lad.
Just talk to us about, obviously, family, and, you know, you've obviously travelled all around the world, but you're probably more settled now than you've ever been in terms of obviously finishing your career.
Yeah, I've always said, and it's like everyone, you know, my family's the most important thing to me. You know, as much as I love football, as much as I've had, obviously, the career that I've had and played for the teams that I've played for, my number one thing is always my family. And every decision that I make is for them. You know, even doing the documentary, you know, I want them to have something. You know, I want my mum and dad to have something that they can look back on, and it's all in one place. It's, you know, it's... family's the most important thing to me. But like my dad, you know, my dad talks about, my mum and dad never missed a game. You know, no matter where I was playing, apart from obviously LA, it was a little bit too far from East London for them to travel every weekend. But other than that, they were at every game, every youth team game, every reserve team game, like your mum and dad were, you know, and the community that we had, you know, at that time, you know, in the youth team, it wasn't just us that were friends and teammates, it was our parents as well that all hung out, they all went on holiday together, they all travelled together, and it was a special thing. But the family part for me is the most important thing.
What's your thoughts, Ted, in terms of obviously now your football career's finished?
I will say, you know, everybody goes on about Cantona, but this man here,
you're too kind.
Oh, he means his lads.
but the team wouldn't have won so much if it hadn't been for him, because I've got probably 1,300 videos of David's games and whatever, and England games, but especially Man U. And this man here, he worked his socks off for the team, and it proved, you know, when he got booked against Juventus, you know, he still played like he, you know, was going to play in the final. But it's been incredible. Football to me has been my life, and I've been there for him, and you know, vice versa. But
It's a beautiful thing, man.
yeah, it is. I mean, you support your kids, and that's what me and his mum have done.
The Roman sort of idea, he came and had a few harsh meetings with us in those few years when he was more present.
What would he say?
He'd just come in, one was before we played at Old Trafford in the Champions League, he'd just come and he'd just sort of be really harsh. I remember him saying once before the Old Trafford at the hotel game, and I think Chicharito went through and scored early in the game, it was a Champions League quarter-final or something. And he sat down and went, and this was translated, which makes it even harsher. You know, the Russian translated. You're waiting for the translation going, it's not going to be good, you know what I mean? And he was like, do I think we're going to win this game? No. Do I think, will you be here at the end of the season if we don't win this game? A lot of you know, and that was being translated to us. Like 2 hours before the game. Typically, we all go out like little kids going, shouldn't have been saying that before the game and all that. Yeah. But really, what he did with those...
I didn't realise he was so invasive like that.
He only had a few, I've got to say. He'd come to a lot of games, and in the early years, my bigger memory is him cuddling us a bit. Not too close, but, well done, high five and off, and that was great. But there were a couple of times, I remember with Carlo one year, he came in, we won the league and we won the FA Cup, but we got knocked out by Inter Milan in the Champions League.
Jose was the manager.
And by Jose, the bits at the bridge. And he came in and absolutely went at everybody from ourselves and manager. It was strong. And then after that, we went about 9 unbeaten. We were winning. So when we started, we won 7-0, 8-0 at the back end of the season. And we had a good Anelka, Drogba, Malouda, and we were strong. But we'd been a bit like that. He came in and went, bosh, and everyone walked out of the room. And then we went on a big run. Not saying it was just that, but it was definitely, so when I say it was the players, there was also a cultural thing around the club there. It was like, we're winners. Coming second was a disaster. Yeah. And I felt it as well. We as a group of players, it's not the ones that go, see you later next year, lads, we're in the Champions League next year anyway.
So it was his culture and mentality, really?
Yeah, I think so. I think it landed, and then it was what it was. And maybe sacking managers, as much as it could have been good or bad, was a reminder of the brutality of it. So if you don't live up to the standards of the owner, and if you don't live up to the standards of the dressing room, and we were strong on that, there were loads of players that came in, like, not to say this is the reason, but Kevin De Bruyne came through and moved on, and Mo Salah and that, and they're obviously world-class players, to say the least now. Yeah. But there were a lot of players that got patted away.
Can I ask you one thing? I didn't want to say this, yeah. Like Columbo.
Oh no, he's going to get you.
You must be aware, obviously, when you've managed and you do your interviews, and you do that thing where you laugh and then go serious.
Yeah, I'll say it. My daughter sent it to me.
I love it. I used to love it.
You never heard of that? No.
You're going to go looking for it now. No, I
do you know what you do, or do you try?
I've tried to stop it now.
Trying to stop it.
No, but I have. My daughter sent it to me ages ago. Like it was a meme or whatever they call it. I don't even really. But now I've seen it. I can't unsee it. But I've done a few press conferences where I've gone, you know, you do it and you go, oh, shit. You know what I mean? Can't help it.
How much were you going out at the time? Were you going every night?
Yeah, virtually all the time, yeah. Every day, every night. Yeah, just constantly for about 6 years, yeah. I mean, I'd have a time where I'd go, right, I've got to clean up because I've got a tournament coming up. And I'd have to like lock myself away in home just because I couldn't say no, you know.
Was it easy to practice at the time? Because you easily practiced when you was in that mode?
Not really, no. I'd go down, yeah, not really, no. It was just sort of, it was the worst time of my life, really, yeah. I was just sort of like, it was horrendous, really, when I think about it. It was fun at the start. First 2 or 3 years.
With Keith Richards and Ronnie Wood, it looked fun.
You know, in the last 3 years, I thought, Jesus, this isn't fun anymore. I felt like, you know, I just felt like a bit of a, like I've let myself down. You know, I just hated myself. I really did. I think I was with you at that period of time as well. I was in Manchester when I was in the back of the car with you, and that was a bad time for me. That was a tipping point. No, just in myself. That was one of where I was really suffering.
The picture of you with Ronnie Wood and Keith Richards at the bar, I mean...
Jimmy as well, wasn't he? Was Jimmy
was there as well.
Yeah, Jimmy, man.
I mean, that's a hell of a picture, that.
Yeah.
What a night out that is.
Yeah, we had some good times. Yeah, they were great nights. Well, they turned into days in the end. They knew how to party. Like, I thought I was good. I was just reckless. But Ronnie and Keith, they had it down to a fine art. They'd have a different drink for different times of the day. They'd have a little sleep for 2 or 3 hours.
Is that dangerous to be amongst that kind of like caliber of drinker?
No, because I was worse than them. It was like in the end, Ronnie was saying you need to calm him down. To my mate, he went calm him down. You know, he's getting a bit out of hand. But obviously this was all stuff that was revealed to me later on down the line. You know. But yeah, that's what happens when you.
Was there a point where you just went, that's it?
Yeah.
What was the point where you just stop and you go, that's it, I've got to change?
When I was, I just couldn't go out and have a game of golf without having a few drinks or a couple of spliffs in my pocket, because I just didn't have the confidence to just be myself, you know. And that's when I thought, oh, I'm banging trouble here. And then I had three TVs in my hotel room once, because I had one to watch the TV, one for my PlayStation, one for something else, for videos, because I just couldn't face being sober around people. And I thought, this is really bad, you know. And then I was kind of like, thought, I need to sort this out. So that's when I phoned someone from the drugs helpline, and boom, got me in a priory, got myself clean. And then thought, okay, yeah, like, you know, I feel like I was just gaining.
Through the towel in, yeah?
Yeah, through the towel in, yeah, I had to, yeah. It was,
When you look back on it, what do you feel like when you look back on it? Do you feel like, yeah, I'm somewhere, you can't regret what you've done, obviously, you should never have regrets, but do you feel like you needed that to be where you are?
No, I did have regrets, that's what I say. Like, when I say regret, that I regretted picking up a drink and a substance to sort of get through my bad times, you know, and it got out of hand, and I just think, that's why I feel grateful for everything I've got now, because I remember them 6, 7 years, and if someone said to me, look, we're going to get you out of this, and you're going to be happy, you're going to be, you're going to be at a place new, you're going to be a bit of a miserable twat, you're going to like, would you take it? And I go, yeah, I'll have that all day long, because that's how desperate I felt at the time. So I remember them times and go, you know what, you know, just be grateful and thankful that you've come out the other end, because a lot of people don't, you know, you see a lot of other sports people, a lot of people just, you know, they don't kind of get back, you know, it's just sort of, keep going downhill.
How's that decision when I'm not drinking no more, that's me?
Well, but like Ronnie said, you just throw the towel in. You think if
but we're talking about getting to a certain place and you are drinking and you're doing it regularly. But now, this day, like today, you've gone, that's it.
Well, it might be a particular day for anybody. You might just get to a stage where you're not enjoying it anymore. You get to a tipping point. You might just get to rock bottom. You go, I'm not enjoying it anymore. You're upsetting people around you, unless you go, I've had enough of it. It's just, sometimes it is as simple as that, but you have to get there.
Yeah.
But I think you have to go easy on yourself, Ronnie. You're on about there, the regrets. But sometimes you have to go to these places. You have to go to these places again, as if I know what I'm talking about. But you do. You have to hit rock bottom to say, listen, this is not for me. And you had some great times, but when you stop enjoying it, and it's time to
throw the towel in.
Nice one.
It's a bit mystical about what actually Manchester United's structure's been over the last 10 years. Who is sat in the room when you're signing a player? Who is sort of, if you like, who is responsible for finding the players? How involved is the manager in that? How does it work?
The manager watches all the players, obviously, and there's multiple lists, and all the scouts. I don't know how many scouts they've employed, but I don't think there's many players they miss having reports on.
So they're all on the list, basically.
Yeah, and then they pick 5. Who we're going to sign? Obviously, he will be 100 million. He's 70. He's 50, 30, 20, and then it depends on the budget, and it's all sorts. And then you meet players, and then I like his attitude. I don't like his attitudes. Yes, no.
There was a point where I remember texting you, I don't know if you remember, where I said, you need to spend their fucking money.
Yeah, because it
got to the point where I thought you weren't getting supported, and I've never texted anybody in football about that type of thing, but I've just known you sat next to you in the dressing room. I just thought, you need to spend their fucking money quickly, because you need some players, you know what I mean?
We needed players, and to be fair...
Spend it wisely.
Yeah, obviously.
You need to...
Obviously, not as in like just, frivolously, just absolutely, he needed to bring players in, it was obvious.
You needed to have the right players, and I felt gradually, being second and third in my two full seasons, I thought we had improved really well ahead of Liverpool, behind City both seasons. And it was about the next step. Are we ready for it?
Yeah, but that's the hardest one.
Yeah,
That was the hardest one.
When we started that season, the owners and they all agreed we got the 4th best squad, because Liverpool City, we felt Chelsea had a better squad than we had, and it was Champions League again. That was the target, and
that was the target, were you?
I'm 100% sure that we would have if I'd stayed that season. Absolutely sure, because what happened after I left didn't really improve things, but. That's
sorry, Jim.
No, I was just going to say, who were some players that you wanted that you didn't get? Because there was rumours of, was it Declan Rice, maybe?
Yeah, I really, really like him as a player. We've discussed him a few times, and I think we would have done well with him in midfield. I think his legs, covering the pitch, I think he improved a lot on his playmaking as well.
Was he available at the time?
Yeah, but obviously it would have cost some money, but we could have and should have gone for him.
Yeah.
The big ones, Ollie, that sort of stand out for me are just, in terms of recruitment, the big ones are Bellingham, who was in the building.
He was in the building. He knew what he wanted, and Jude, he was in the building. You can't ask for a lot more for a midfielder, because I was there obviously as the manager. Sir Alex was there. Roy should have been there, but you weren't. But Brian Robson was there, and Cantona was there that day when he came to the club.
Wow.
So we all spoke to him, and of course we sold it to him as well as we could. But he knew what he wanted: X amount of minutes in the first team. That's it. The most mature. He was 17 at the time. Most mature 17-year-old I've ever met in my life. He had it planned out.
But do you think it's a bit much for a player to go to a club and have 4 or 5 people?
That's because
but
you're talking about the level of player that they wanted, and you know what he's gone on to do. If I could have put those Avengers together, I would have done the same thing.
The thing is, it was coincidental.
I understand that, but they still end up meeting him.
Were there just by coincidence.
But he wasn't going to sign for Man United because he met Cantona and Brian Robson. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that would be. Just because you go to a club.
Yeah, but we're talking about a 17-year-old. If you're going to see whether they're there by accident or not, if you're going to see Robson, obviously you didn't make it, or Robson, Alex Ferguson, Cantona, and that.
But what difference would them? When I was signing for Man United, meeting Bobby Charlton and these people wouldn't have made a difference to my decision making. You know the
He's a
history of
manager.
the
Obviously,
club.
I sat down and spoke to him.
Of course you're the manager.
And
Jesus, yeah, you're going to meet him.
Him and his dad, his mum.
But imagine if he signed, he said, why did you sign? Because I met Brian Robson and Eric Cantona today. Well,
It's just part of the garnish, Roy. It's part of the garnish.
Or why,
I know what you mean.
or why didn't he
did it
sign?
work?
Yeah.
Because Roy Keane didn't pay him.
If Roy came, I would have signed.
If you'd
But it didn't
been
work
there,
right, did it?
Bellingham would be at United.
Yeah, but the thing is, like,
Bellingham,
honest,
we
That's my point. He knew what he was doing. He was mature
I
enough to
think
know
with
that.
Bellingham and Haaland, I think they know how good they are. They've almost got their careers mapped out. 'Cause I think of the way Haaland moved to sort of Salzburg, then it's Dortmund.
Well, Haaland was my next one,
Yeah,
to be honest with you,
yeah.
because you obviously
I had him.
You had him.
Yeah, I
and
had him in
like,
Molde for about 18 months. Yeah, 2 seasons, more or less. And the summer before I got here, we're in Manchester, I rang the club, said, you've got to sign this boy. He'll be top, absolutely top class. That was June, July 18. And they said, no, they had enough reports. So, okay, no problem. Then I become the temporary or caretaker. Then we'd sold him to Salzburg. I tell the club straight away, buy him straight away before he's plays for them. Because he didn't play for them for 3 or 4 months. Just sign him now because he's got a release clause. We knew that. Because we knew, and no one else then would have paid that money.
what kind of money would it have been?
20 million euros. So,
Bargain.
yeah. And it would have been a bargain, yeah. It would. And maybe at that time, even though with his links with Alfie and City and Leeds, maybe I think he would have thought...
At me, far, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think, yeah.
You wouldn't have brought
We'll
Roy
go.
to meet him, would you, if he was coming over?
Did you then say the actual report of the scout?
Yeah, I've got it.
He wasn't. What I'm trying to say is the scouting reports of Erling Haaland, they felt he wasn't at the level of Manchester United, or Erling Haaland thought that was too big a jump. Whose decision was it not to?
No,
to
it
go
was
for him?
the club's decision to not go for him then. While I
What's
said...
the club?
Well,
I don't want to name.
So
The scouting department?
but
Or?
we never made bids or never went in for him until after they realised when he started scoring for Salzburg. But then Dortmund were there, Juventus were there, everyone was there.
What was his price tag then? A lot more.
There was another release clause that was not bad.
Oh, okay.
60
But you look back, Ollie, you're on about,
euros.
like, could you think sometimes a manager, not everybody gets every player they're after, but could you like been stronger going, no, he is like...
I've had him for 18 months to
Yeah,
sign him.
you've had
That's
inside
because
info,
you know them and you know...
And you were fighting your corner from that point of view.
Yeah,
Were you say-
you know that kid, he gives everyone so much energy. He's such a great lad. You just see him smiling and...
Another
he's so
great
happy.
lad. Yeah, we like great lads. Don't
Yeah.
we?
No, but he's got more than just being a great lad because he's such a team player. And one-on-one with the keeper, he doesn't think about his own stats. He passes if someone else is like, I can give it you and it's 100% goal.
Yeah.
He's a gem. He's a gem.
Can I throw a name in it, just quick? Derek Chisora.
Lunatic.
I go to the Russian banjo with him. He's just one of the most eccentric men I've ever met in my life.
But you talk about negotiation, right? So I'll make Dillian White against Derek Chisora, right? The first fight. So we're negotiating the money, blah, blah, blah. And I said, look, I want to incentivise you guys on the pay-per-view because I want you to sell the fight for me, right? And Chisora says, I don't want any pay-per-view, just give me my money. So I'm like, all right, anyway, so I'll give him a bit more money, all right? Anyway, we get to the press conference, I'm thinking, this is going to be wild because these two, like, they're lunatics. It's going to go off. Hopefully, there's no violence, but it's going to be great for the pay-per-view. So start with Dillian White, I'm going to do this, I'm going to smash you up, blah, 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 this is personal. I turned to Derek, I went, Derek, big fight coming up. He said all this about you. What you got to say? And he went, I ain't saying nothing. I said, what? And he went, you haven't put me on the pay-per-view, mate. At the presser, right? Live. And I went, well, this is live. I went, you said you didn't want any pay-per-view money. He went, I'll do now. I went, all right, we'll talk about that after. But anyway, we went, no, nothing. So I'm like, so they did the face-off, and he comes up to me and he goes, I said, what are you doing? He went, no, you haven't given me any pay-per-view money. I said, you said you didn't want any. He went, well, give me that watch. I like a Rolex slide. I said, what do you mean, give me that watch? She went, give me that watch and I'll sell the fight. So
What was it?
Rolex.
Right? A real one or a
real one? And I went, no. I said, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I went, this show does 300,000 pay-per-view buys. I'll buy you one of these. And he went, you got it. They drove down Sky for the gloves are off. Next thing, Dillian White's thrown a glass at him. They're rolling around on the floor. He's bit Dillian White on the chest, like the whole thing, you know. And then famously, 3 weeks later, when we had the press conference, it got real bad. Like they talk about, I know your address. When this fight's over, I'm coming round to see you and all stuff like this. And then Dillian White said that in the presser, and Chisora had this thing. Once the knee started going, you needed to evacuate. So they're talking, and he's gone, and Dillian White's gone, I know where you live, and when this fight's over, don't think this is over, yeah? And Chisora's gone, like this, and I've told security behind, I went, be ready, yeah? So he's gone, I've seen his leg go like this, I'm down the table, and I've looked at my security, I went, I can get ready. And he's gone, you think I'm the baddest man? And he's picked up the table, do you remember?
Yes, I remember.
He picked up the table and threw it, well, at Dillian White, but actually threw it at me and Adam Smith. And there's like a famous thing like this, he was like, wild. And then the board said, the fight's off.
Oh, no.
I said, no. I said, we've just finally had the build-up of a lifetime here. No, fight's off. I said, you've got to have a hearing. So we went to the hearing with the board, and as you can imagine, like, he's 70, he's 80, he's 90. And I said to Derek, Derek, just come in. I said, and just say, you need this fight to provide for your family, you're sorry, you're a boxer, it's just, So he's like, okay, stay calm. So there's like all these old boys from the board and Derek Chisora, and he starts reading off his rap sheet. He's like, in 2018, you bit the ear of another man at a press conference. In 2019, you spat in Vladimir Klitschko's face like this. And Chisora's like sitting there like this. And all of a sudden, he's gone. I went, stop it here. I said, stop. I said, you can't do this to him. He's supposed to be fighting in 2 days. So I took him out and he came in, he gave a great speech. And we won 4-3 in the hearing. So, and it was one of the best fights I've ever seen.
Did he come back in wearing your watch?
I gave him the watch. I bought him the watch. Done about 400,000, and I bought him the watch.
What would you get for Righty versus Carragher?
I don't understand, a fortune. I mean, I often think to myself.
Here we go. Grady just wants a Rolex.
Well, I said, and he won't mind me saying, after every big fight, especially with a YouTuber, sometimes Rooney will fire me in a message and go, listen, I'll tell you. And I actually said to Wayne,
did you not see me as Phil Bardsley?
Yeah, I know, but that was in the living room after about 8 bottles of red. Yeah. But it's like Wayne Rooney, who had a very limited amateur pedigree, but still could fight.
Yeah.
Wayne Rooney training, and I said to him, great as well. Imagine the shape you'd get in, you get right back in shape against Jake Paul at Old Trafford.
Wow.
Right? And that's
the one, isn't it?
Wow.
I'm like,
on the overlap. We're going to go to the tunnel incident, Patrick. Where is it? Which
Well,
one?
you're gonna have a look.
We're going to have a look. So we're going to show you the tunnel incident.
Show it, Gary.
And to be fair, I'm not, because we've all seen the tunnel incident before, actually. Oh, gee. It'd be wrong not to show it.
What, you're just showing it for back? Because the people can't see this.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get the... There we go.
Right,
So before I show it, the context of this is that, and this is the thing that I think I remember at the time. So we're warming up before the game. You imagine, so this didn't start here in the tunnel, right? We're warming up before the game, as you do. I'm practicing my headers. Patrick's doing what he's doing over there. So I run down the tunnel at Highbury, tight tunnel. You know the tunnel. Yeah. And I can hear all of a sudden, like a doom, these thuds behind me, and him shouting my name, or you, or something like that. And he ran up behind me in the tunnel, and he went, "You won't kick our fucking players today," or something.
Yes.
Do you remember that, Patrick?
That was planned.
Planned by who? You?
No, by me. Yeah.
Or by Arsene Wenger?
I said no.
No.
The boss wasn't like
the
that.
boss wasn't like that.
Yeah.
No,
So
no.
was it because of the game at Old Trafford earlier in the season, or was?
Because of the 9 years I spent there. I didn't like you at all.
Man United or Gary Neville? Hey, that's a victory. It's a massive success. It's a win-win.
No, but it's true. Honestly, I couldn't stand you because you were just kicking everybody, and especially Robert.
You
when
sure
he
it
was
wasn't
there.
Phil?
No, it was him.
Okay.
100% sure. And at that game, I was just like, I have to
make him know.
To make you aware that today you're not going to touch Robert, because I knew that was the plan for you, because you struggle against Robert. And when
he struggled against me.
And he was like, no, today I will have to tell you, leave him alone.
Did Robert
Because
say
I
anything
felt-
to you about it? Or
No,
did you just okay.
no. But I felt that you were over the top against him.
The game earlier on the season
You
at
know,
Old
you
Trafford,
were-
to be
you were
fair,
over
we,
the top.
we, to
You
be
were
honest,
over
it got to the point where we were aggressive. That left side of ours was
and
unbelievable.
Robert was quite really nice. He just stepped up and he's just like, but he's too nice to complain.
Yeah.
And I think at time you went over the top. It was too much and it was too obvious. And obviously because of United controlling all the referees and all the stuff like that. So
That's illegal. That's the first ever lawsuit on Stick to Football.
Name the players with over 100 Premier League goals. Go.
Shearer.
Correct.
Rooney.
Oh, correct. Cole.
Yeah.
Correct.
Michael Owen.
Fowler.
Correct.
Fowler.
Correct.
Kane.
Kane. Correct. Jesus, I really wish I had a Sharpie or something here.
Scholes.
Scholes. Yeah. Yep.
Fucking
Giggs.
Gerrard.
Yeah. Thank you.
Henry.
That's gone. That's gone.
Is it gone?
I said it first.
He did it. That was the first
Oh,
one he read.
that
No, he
was the
didn't.
first one. No, they said it's not gone. They said it's not
Is it
gone.
not gone?
No, he didn't. He didn't say
All right.
Oh, the cheating starting now.
You said Shearer first.
Yeah, because he's the top man.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so whose go is it?
Whose goal is it?
You lads.
Lampard, did you say?
Yeah, go on.
Lampard.
Lampard, yeah.
Lampard. Correct, yeah.
You go.
I'll give
No, you
no,
do.
because
I think you're on the striker zone.
only three.
Yeah.
Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank.
Yeah.
Correct.
See, Jamie's whisper went like that. Look, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank.
We should
I'll go with.
That was our one. He's got our one.
Yeah.
One.
Go on, Emma Leslie.
Yeah.
Good shout.
Frank Lampard.
We've done
You
that.
said Lampard,
We've done
but
that.
you said Lampard.
Yes, we said Lampard. We said Lampard. He said Lampard. He said Lampard.
100%.
Yes. Come on, yes.
100%.
Right. Yes. We've won.
I said Lampard because we just spoke about him on
Yes.
the
Did they say Lampard?
He did say Lampard.
100%.
He
We're
said
not gonna lie.
Lampard. Yes. Great
about
Lampard.
Henry.
Right, if you get one right
Said
now, you
me, I
win
don't
this.
lie.
You win this round.
Go on, do it.
No.
Please. Right, it's my gift.
I'm too excited.
It's my gift.
Too excited.
Right. It's my gift to you. It's my gift
have
to
it
you.
back.
Should I
Have
take
it-
the gift
you-
back?
Please.
Jermaine Defoe.
Wrong.
I didn't understand anything.
Are you going to think Jermaine?
Right, his first trophy.
Oh my word. Oh, that's it. That's it.
Come on!
Lucky
Campione. We didn't shake their hands.
Yes.
We didn't shake their hands. Come on, sorry. Hey,
Humble and victory.
all the best. All the best next year. All the best next year.
And righty.
Right,
You
good
run
shot,
there as
Righty.
well, pal.
Yeah, I didn't want to say myself. I didn't want to say myself.
Yeah. Saving
I didn't want to say myself.
All on there.
Right, I want a replay of him saying Lampard. Your hero growing up was?
David Beckham.
Was that after your meeting with Roy Keane in a hotel in Ireland?
It might have been, yeah. I can't believe we're just going to go straight into
We'll go straight.
Oh,
Okay, yeah. There's an elephant in the room that we need to get out.
Getting defensive, I'm going to fold my arms. That's right. Get defensive. Yeah,
Don't get defensive. Don't be.
I was down at Pormarnock Links Hotel and the Irish team were staying. And it was a training camp, I think, and I saw one of my Man United heroes in the lobby, Roy Keane, and I went over and asked him for an autograph.
How old was you, Roy?
And 12.
Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and he looked up at me, he was sitting down, and he looked up and he goes, "Not today, kid."
It's like, okay.
That's awful.
No, that's
awful.
Is that true?
It was
It doesn't sound like it.
Listen, a 12-year-old
Where's the toast?
Man United.
It's fine.
Not
It's
gonna
fine.
fit
You look busy. It was
Right, I'm probably in the zone, but we going training or? No?
I mean, I know you had your spats in the Irish team over the years. So I
Right.
don't know if you were just in a bad mindset or I don't know what was happening.
No, the only thing I'd remember about that hotel, honestly, it was always like kids around annoying the players. Here's another one.
It's your vibe, though.
But it's all right. It didn't make an impression on me at all. So
Oh,
it was all right. It was fine.
So yourself then, Roy, have you ever refused?
Yeah, I have. I mean, the reason people know this story because they said, oh, you like to try to give back to kids. I said, yeah, and I have this story because it stayed with me with Roy Keane, big hero of mine, whatever. But of course, I think we've all been in positions where we've been busy or we've had to take a phone call or whatever. And you're like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that, or I can't. I mean, you can't please everyone. It's hard to. You try your best. Yeah. You really try your best to try to give everyone time, especially younger people and kids. But it's hard, I mean, he was just unlucky, wasn't he? That the person he said no to.
One of the greatest golfers ever in the world.
Feels like a long way away.
Move a bit closer if you want.
No, it's fine.
You sure your stance is right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh! Nearly.
Wow, great effort. You're going, Gal?
One more.
He's got one more.
One more?
Okay.
Yeah, 2 each.
Two each, yeah.
It was a nice strike.
Oh!
Consistent.
Good effort.
Oh, you
fucker!
So close.
Story of my life.
Right,
go on, Gary.
Right.
He's a golfer, yeah?
I fancy Gary, yeah. Jesus, Gal! I'm so proud of you.
I'm so annoyed you done that.